Hi guys! Long time no see. I put a little YouTube post a couple days ago. I had technical difficulties. The video that was filming with my sister, we're just gonna refilm it, but I accidentally lost all the footage. Of course, you know, rookie mistake, but now we know, you live and you learn, and that video was gonna have to come out at a later time. Today, I wanted to do a soft beat makeup tutorial because like I said, the girlies are getting into makeup now. Like, you know, all the girls that like were shading us girls in high school and younger for wearing makeup, now trying to get into it, which no shade, like it's cool, like I understand. So that's why I'm here to help you. I have all my products laid out. I'm gonna try my best to explain like each step as if you're learning makeup for the first time. Even if you are someone that wears makeup normally, I still hope you enjoy it. First things first, you have to prime the skin. Now, priming is not just your primer, it's also your skincare. So you want to use stuff that is very hydrating. You don't want to exacerbate any texture that you already have, especially if you have acne. So I like to use hyaluronic acid. I like to tone after every step just to really plump the skin. It helps everything just look a lot better and more seamless in my opinion. This is the foundation that I'm using. This is the Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I'm 220 in this shade. I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. I also have used the Mint Melt Primer by e.l.f. as well. I've already washed my face. My face is clean. I have sunscreen on. If you are wearing sunscreen, at least wait 15 to 20 minutes before you start putting on your makeup because it does need to form a cast on your skin in order to protect it from the sun. All over the skin. I make sure to really go in and prime the areas that I know are super oily and that my makeup will have trouble sticking to. So this is my nose for me, my chin, and then the middle of my forehead. With this primer, you have to let it dry down a little bit and then, you know, tap it to activate it, I guess. I like to go in with my concealer in this step. I just used the LA Girl Pro Concealer. I have the shades GC956, that's vanilla, and then this one, I couldn't tell you because it's used and abused. I like to let my concealer sit, especially concealer like this that isn't really full coverage, it's more like medium sheer kind of. This gives it a chance to dry down and gives it a little bit more coverage. If you feel like you let it dry down for too long, you can always go in with a setting spray. I wouldn't use something that's like something that's really gonna set it in place like this. This is the Professional Super Setter. I would honestly go in with something that's like mostly water. This is the LA Girl setting spray. I mean, it's still a setting spray, but for me, it didn't really like work to set. It was more so just like in between, especially if I was using cream products. I go in this direction, kind of as like a lift, you know. This will also depend on your face shape, so if you want to hop on Pinterest, hop on Google, you know what I mean. I have an oval face shape and I feel like my features are very centered, so I just want to kind of snatch my face towards the edges personally. You can also lay it on thick, like go ahead girl. While that's sitting, I'm gonna go in with my foundation. A tip to shade match is when you go into the store, you want to, if you're getting like a tester, then obviously that works the best, but if you're like in a drugstore, I would swatch it on your neck, not your hand, not your face, because a lot of the times, especially if you use retinol, my face is always lighter than the rest of my body because I exfoliate my face so often. So you want to do it to your neck because a lot of the times you're going to wear clothing that shows your neck, but obviously your neck usually is the same skin tone as your body. I know some people have a darker neck than the rest of their body, so you want to just maybe do your chest instead, especially if you're going to wear something that exposes your chest. But I always either match to my neck or my chest, never my hand or my face. Undertone is kind of tricky. I still don't think this foundation perfectly matches my skin tone, but most of the time, unless you're taking pictures, like it doesn't fucking matter. Like, this is also a trick that I learned, I can't remember from where, I'm so sorry, but I just spray setting spray in my foundation, just a couple sprays, not too much. That is kind of a lot, but you want it to stay, you know. And I'm just gonna take the end of something to mix it all together. It's gonna look really weird. This might not work for every foundation, but this is what I've been doing every time I beat my face, and my shit really be staying. The Professional setting spray is good, but the Charlotte Tilbury one, I got the travel size of that just to try it. That shit is beautiful. Your face is gonna be stuck. Like even back when we were like wearing masks and shit, I would spray that and have like very little transfer. Probably not enough foundation, but my skin has been getting better. And me personally, I don't mind if my hyperpigmentation shows through. I kind of just paint it on like that in big stripes. I probably should have tied my hair back, but I'm trying to be cute, y'all. Like, also, do y'all like my hair? I got it done. Yes, ma'am. I finally got my color touched up, and I got this flat twist style because there was no way in hell I was gonna be able to achieve this myself, especially the cornrow part. I don't know how the hell she did that, but I'm just not good at anything other than twist, let alone fucking flat twist. So why did the camera just stop recording? Oh. Anyways, this is why I started bright and early, because I knew it was probably gonna tweak. But anyways, like I was saying, that's also another thing to making your foundation or your face last in general, especially if you have oily skin. In between each step, so like after I blend all of this out, I'm gonna spray. After I go in with my cream bronzer and blush, I'm gonna spray. And then once you do all your powders, you're gonna spray that. Once you do all your finishing touches, you're going to spray every layer so that you can really incorporate the setting spray, so that it's not just on the top layer. Can really help it last a lot longer. I'm using a stippling brush to start off. This is the Real Techniques 401 sculpting brush. It is angled. I think it's for contouring, but I just like how dense it is for makeup. I feel like it really, especially for foundations like Fit Me that are not full coverage, at least for me, because I have pretty intense hyperpigmentation, this just helps really keep the coverage, because I feel like a sponge kind of like soaks it up a little bit. But I do go in with a sponge, a damp one, after I blended it out with this, because I also just really like to blend, not down my neck personally, because if you match it to your neck, you won't have to do all that, but just blend the jawline area, and also just kind of make the gap here from the concealer to the foundation more seamless. I'll go in with the butt of this and blend that as well. And I'm going to avoid this under eye area because I use the e.l.f. Camo Concealer Sponge for that area. When you start to notice it not be as like not oil slick, but as shiny, it's drying down, babe. It's time to blend. I lift my hair lightly, blender into the hairline, also into the ears. You just want it to look as seamless as possible, like this is your skin, you know? And now I have like a nose piercing to go around. Oh my god, I love it. My nose is like gets very oily, so I just use like the leftover foundation on that area and like really just brush it in. But yeah, I'm over here talking. I didn't even do my brows first. I usually do my brows first, but honestly, it's okay. I'll just go in with like a wet Q-tip and then get all the excess foundation out of there. Like, it's not horrible. Like, it'll be fine, but I'm more used to doing it beforehand personally. After this, we're gonna go in with cream contour and blush. I'm using the e.l.f. Putty Blush. This is in the shade Tahiti, the e.l.f. Putty Blush. And then I also have the e.l.f. Cream Contour Palette. Let me turn this music down before I get copyrighted. Lord have mercy. I have not beat my face in so long. Like, this is just so refreshing. Like a fresh, it's a kind of fresh style, but my hair is done. I got my nails done. Y'all already know by who, like, duh. I just feel like I'm just so happy. Like, my toes are done. I'm not showing y'all that, but they're so fucking cute. Like, look at that. Beautiful. So seamless. I hope everyone's having a good day. I went to the gym early this morning. That was my little serotonin boost, and I just feel great. Like, I got some new outfits. They're mostly work outfits, but I could still wear them outside of work. But they, like, I just needed clothes bad, and it just looks so good. Before I go in, this is kind of like the final step of blending the wet products. I'm gonna take the Camo Concealer Sponge and go underneath. This is gonna look crazy until I blend the edges, okay? Relax. You're just gonna go in, you're gonna tap, tap, tap. Get as close to this inner corner here as you can. Also do like this. You're gonna look crazy, but look down so you can get underneath that lash line. I'm so happy to be back filming. I'm literally gonna edit at the speed of light today so I can get this up by Sunday. It is Thursday when I'm filming this, so fingers crossed there's no issues. I kind of leave the edges for right now. Don't forget to blend up. You don't want to blend down. I'm just pressing it flat against my skin. Then I'm going to do this side again, kind of looking up so you can get right underneath that lash line. I just like how it looks like, and when you set it with powder, my under eyes are so dark, like they always kind of have been, and I've always kind of had that little divot right there. Your girl needs some eye filler, but this kind of helps give the illusion of just like a smooth, flat under eye. Don't worry about the area by the nose. It blows me, like, I know not everyone is fucking an expert in makeup, but like with like not blending and having harsh lines, it really will ruin a look. Do not leave this here. You have to blend that. And don't leave this line here. Girls will blend into their hairline. Don't do that. It doesn't look good. I promise y'all. I'm just trying to help you. No shade, because I've been there. Like, I've been there. But I feel like this eye has more coverage. So I'm going to go back and forth to kind of spread the love here. I promise I'm not being a hater. Like, I understand. We all learn. But that's just one of my pet peeves when I see people doing their makeup. They do not blend this bit. Like, they just keep blending off into here. And it's like, it just doesn't look good. She's a good color. I choose something that's like 2 shades lighter than me. Obviously, if you want a bright under eye, go cool girl. But I would just say keep that, like, just put a little bit right here. Keep it the brightest here, and then the rest maybe do a darker, more closer to your skin tone, so it's not like so like flashback Mary, you know. I'm gonna go in with the butt of this sponge. It's a little damp. If you want to do it dry, that's okay too. If you don't want to take up too much coverage. And you see how I'm just going around the edges here. I'm softening it. Light pressure. This is damp, so if you squeeze it really hard, you might squeeze out some water. For the nose bridge, I'm going to go in with a smaller brush, and I will show you guys. So don't worry about that area right now. Take your time with this. Always do your makeup with at least two hours to spare. Like, you never want to be in a rush, especially if you're someone that's just starting out with makeup. It's so much more of an enjoyable experience. I have no idea where the fuck I left off what I was saying. I literally have the attention span of a bird, but I added the darker out of the 2 concealers to areas where I kind of want to balance, kind of highlight. Very minimal. This is not really to make anything look bigger or smaller, because I already have a broad forehead. It's just to balance it out. I don't want to have like only brightness here. I'm going to go in with contour palette. This is the brush I'm going to go in with for here. It's flat, it's dense. When I go in to blend this area here so it's not a harsh line, I'm going to use this brush for the cream contour. I'm going to use a flat shader brush. This is from the Sephora collection, this little thing. So I'm going to use this shade here. This is a soft beat, so everything is going to be toned down. Very close to the skin tone, very seamless. That's a soft beat. We want a going out look, we're going to go a little crazy. That's for another day. I might have to be back because my camera's flashing red. This is a hot mess. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll just come back once all the cream products are blended. I had to give her a minute to cool down, but I've added cream contour and cream blush. I just dab it on my finger. I'm gonna let this dry down for a little bit. But after blending, I forgot to spray beforehand, but you're gonna spray. You gotta get it in between the layers. The Real Techniques, or no, this is a Sonia Kashuk filter makeup sponge. I like how it's pointed here. It really does help me like keep everything upward. And then I'm gonna probably use my sponge or my stipple brush after that just to blend the edges and make sure that it's seamless. And then of course for the concealer part, I'm gonna use this. If you can, try and keep it separate. I know this is like a lot of sponges, but then again, they're cheap. So like e.l.f. has that pink one that's for complexion, and this is for concealer. And those are only a couple dollars. But just to kind of like at least use different, at least brushes, if not sponges, just so everything isn't too muddy. Especially in this area, it can get muddy very fast if you're not careful about the tones that you choose. This is a warm tone blush with a warm toned contour. It's not really contour, it's more so bronzer than anything. It's just kind of to add dimension to the skin, and depending on your face shape, you might want to lower this, you might want to lift it up a little higher. Mine is like right on the cheekbone, and then I put my blush right on top of that, a little bit above the cheekbone, just to give more of a lifted look for me. And then, you know, if you have already a wide chin, maybe you don't want to put anything here, or if you already have a sharp jawline, you might not want to put anything there. Kind of just experiment, see what looks good. I do this to make my forehead look smaller, and I also like having dimension by the temples, so then, you know, I'm gonna blend all of that out. I'm gonna start with the concealer because that's what I applied first. I'll start with the chin. And with it being dried down, it also doesn't spread a whole bunch. So if you accidentally put too much, just let it dry down. But also go in with a stippling brush and blend the edges if I feel like it got too far. I did put a little bit here and here because I do like to blend in the powder bronzer that I use into the eyebrows. I just feel like it ties everything together and it doesn't look so like separated. I don't know, it just makes everything look good. I don't fucking know, it just, you want to make everything seamless, and then the soft beat, seamless is key. Oh my god, I look like a Dr. Seuss character, girl. The nose, I really just like lightly tap because I don't want this to go everywhere. I'm gonna come back after this is blended. Just with this, you want to use the pointed and go in an up motion. For my blush, I'm probably just going to use my fingers and then continue to do this, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's all blended out. Anything that you do, whether it's a sponge or brush, you want to use a stippling or dabbing motion. You never want to swipe, obviously, but it might not be obvious for people who are just starting out. But I like to take whatever is left from the cream bronzer on here and go around the edges on the chin, just so it's not a big white spot. But I'm just dabbing along the chin. Have to be very careful here. I'm just going right underneath it. Remember, if you go too far down, that's okay. Just go under with the lighter concealer or powder to, I say cut it, but just to clean it up. I might have to just blend this with my fingers, but again, dabbing motion, and I'm going back and forth. I try not to drag it farther than, like, you know, the middle part of your eye. You don't want to have it all under here unless you have a round short face. Just like that. And look, you're gonna see that it's okay. We still have the stippling brush and our complexion sponge to make everything seamless. I'm just establishing the shadows here, the dimension, and then eventually it will start to become seamless. It will start to blend. Gorge. Moving on to the forehead, I kind of like slowly work my way towards that spot here, just so again it's not just a pan of white or lightness there. Dabbing so that it's seamless. Don't be afraid to go into that hairline. And a trick, please do not leave makeup in your hairline. Oh my god, take a wet wipe, Q-tip, whatever, clean your hairline after you're done. Obviously you want it to look like this is your skin, so blend into that scalp, don't be scared. But afterwards, clean it up. Clean off your earrings, go in with powder or a dry sponge on your ears to make sure it's not just wet foundation still sitting on here, like little things like that. Or if you have piercings, take a wet Q-tip, clean off the piercing, just to make stuff look more polished, you know? This is what I be noticing on my face, but also other people's faces, so it's like, I'm just trying to help y'all out, okay? Don't think I'm being shady. Always keep Q-tips, blotting papers, powder, all that. Anything to touch up in your purse, because you never know when your makeup gonna try you, you know? I'm going over the edges of where I blended out that forehead concealer with this, because I don't want too much brightness. My forehead's already big, you know? Just a little bit. I'm gonna take this brush, dab, slowly blend this out, and blend out the cheeks. I'm gonna spray really quick. You want to spray at a distance from your face. And I always have a handheld mirror to fan her dry. You're gonna fan yourself dry. Oh shit. You're gonna fan yourself dry. And then we're pretty much ready to move on to powders. Even though I put a lot of blush, it looks more intense on camera than what it is in real life. Blush is the first thing to fade on your face, especially if you use a powder blush. So that's why I kind of do a cream underneath and then a light dusting of powder on top. So I blended one side underneath the eyes using the Camo Concealer sponge. And then I go in with this triangle powder puff. I got these, like a pack of 3 from Amazon. And this is Fit Me powder. It's the pressed powder in the shade 120 Classic Ivory. So first, you blend out any creases with the sponge. Again, looking up like this. And I'm kind of blending it into a triangle shape here, if you can see that. You don't want to have any creases under the eye because once you add powder, it will set like that. And I kind of layer my powder a little bit under the eyes just because I do have a lot of lines under there. No matter how much powder you put, it will crease if you have lines no matter what. But just to minimize that as much as possible, I like to layer my powder. I go in first with the pressed powder just to set it. I put a little extra powder here. This will get swept off and it will blend in with the powder bronzer and blush, so don't worry about it. But I'm just trying to get it to set in place here. And then I'll take the loose powder. This is again Fit Me. It's their loose powder in the shade 10 Fair Light. They're about the same shade. And then I go in with this one to kind of bake it and to also brighten. And if you do have a powder that has talc in it, if you take pictures with flash, it will show. FYI. I really don't care about flashback. I don't take a lot of pictures in the dark. I just need it to be cute. So as you can see, like, it's just so smooth. It's not really baking because I don't have a bunch of loose powder under here. I don't know, I guess I just really press it in. I'm also going to take that loose powder and put it on the areas that I highlighted. So my chin, Cupid's bow, the nose tip and bridge. This is also just like reinforcing that highlight. Everything else is going to be set with powder, blush, and bronzer. I'm going to do this area first with the powder, blush, and bronzer, and then go on underneath it like this with the powder to make it super crisp. And then if that line is too sharp, then you're just going to go back in with the bronzer and blend along this line just so it's not too harsh. After that, I'm going to show you guys, we're going to spray, and then I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing for my brows. I don't really like this eyebrow pencil. It's the Revlon Color Stay. It's also like, it's too dark, but it's also like not thin enough. I like a really thin tip for the brow pencil. I prefer the, I forget the brand. I'll put it here if I remember, but it has such a finer tip and it makes it easier to do the hair-like strokes with. But I'm using this for now, this flat shader brush, the e.l.f. flat eyeliner brush, just to blend the ABH pencil that I use to clean up underneath. And then to set the brows, I use this. But first, we're gonna do the powder on this side. I've added that powder there. I'm now taking the same flat shader brush and then I'm dipping it in the bronzer. I use the Butter Bronzer in the shade 6676. This way so that it's flat. Lightly go along the sides. This is not really to like make my nose any smaller. I'm actually just following the natural shape of my nose, but after powdering and all that, it kind of gets lost. It looks so harsh on camera. Holy shit. It's not this harsh. I'm gonna blend it into here, into the brows, make it nice and seamless. And then also you can turn it like this. Hold on. And this to kind of diffuse it. You could also dust your brush off just to get the excess shadow off. And like, I get really sloppy with this because I don't want it to be harsh at all. I hate harsh nose contour. I already went with the powder blush. I used the Wet n Wild blush in the shade Pinch Me Pink. And I go on the tip of my brow, or my nose, just to add a little dimension towards the end of it. Go across like that. Same thing, turn my brush this way and just go all through here, connecting all these lines. Nose is done. I'm gonna let this keep sitting. I did also highlight with the e.l.f. highlighter in the shade White Gold. After I dust this off, I'm gonna spray, but let me show you guys what I do for the other brow. I just brush the hairs up. I start with a line underneath and then a line up top. And I'm using a very light hand. I'm gonna lightly brush up. I did a couple hair-like strokes in the front, just because I don't have a lot of hair there. It's better to have not enough and then to gradually build it up than to have too much. With brows, it's kind of hard to like not make it look hella thick. Layer it little by little. Honestly, I could have just put this on, but I did just want to show you the technique that I use for my brows. After I have like the top and bottom line done, I'm gonna go in hair-like strokes, so like this, super short, super light, fill in any gapped areas. I like to have kind of an ombre brow, so feathery and light in the front, and then it starts to get a little dark towards the tail. Emphasize the arch a little bit by adding a little shade there. Towards the front, you can just brush it up and take the product from the back of the brow and blend it forward, and then to kind of really vigorously blend it. You're like, oh my god, it still looks so light, like whatever. Once you add the brow gel, it will get darker anyway, so that's why I say tread lightly. I take the brow pencil, go underneath to clean it up. For eyeshadow, I'm really not gonna do anything other than put a little bronzer in my in my crease, which I already did a little bit. Also, quick little tip, take a little brush like this. It's short and it's pretty dense. It's the e.l.f. eye contour brush, but while your face is still wet and right before you powder, kind of like how you blend underneath your eye, take a brush like this, stipple in the corners of your nose to kind of help prevent that weird little cakey moment that happens. It's like the texture in that area is a little different than the rest of your skin, so I just tap to blend out the foundation, and then right after follow up with a powder. Take the flat brush, drag it down. I'm starting kind of like midway here. I'm leaving a little gap underneath because I like to leave like a little line for a highlight. Just like stopping a little bit. You see how I have a little space, and I'm dragging that down. And for the area right underneath the brow, I'm gonna go right up against the shape that I want to make. Don't drag in one swipe because, you know, our hands are naturally not very steady, so you can like go this way when you're really trying to go down. So I just like drag it a little bit, just go little by little. You can take a finger and press down here, or the concealer sponge and go underneath. I dab a little bit towards like that area right up under the brow, just so it's not too harsh. You see how clean that looks? I just prefer this more than concealer because concealer moves around too much for me. I'm gonna add this and then put a little highlight underneath the brow bone. So I went ahead and sprayed my face after I did a little bit of highlighting underneath this brow bone, my inner corners, the nose, and Cupid's bow. I already did my cheek after I finished putting on my powder, blush, and bronzer. The brows are set in place. Again, I used the NYX brow glue. Now we're gonna move on to the eyes. I literally have not done lashes in months, so this might come out fucked up, but basically what I do, make sure this bitch is clean, that lash line is clean. If there's still gunk on there, pull it off with some tweezers or get some fresh ones. You're gonna roll it, let it just back and forth so it makes this rounded shape. Sorry, my nails are long. But yeah, I do this so it helps like form to my eye. I feel like when you pull it straight out of the package and that bitch is straight, it's gonna be so annoying to glue onto your eye. And obviously after you take it out of the package, put it up against your eye. It should still be sticky from the adhesive on there. See if it, you know, fits your eye. If it doesn't, clip. I would honestly clip the inner corners rather than the outer corner, because that's where the fullest is, and like you don't want to clip that off and you're going to be left with the lashes kind of sparse. It's the brand that I'm using. I just get this from the Beauty Supply store. This is the style ELDL 20 Parker. Okay, these are only $2. Super cute. The band does not bother me. This is the lash glue that I use. This is the black, or the dark, what does it say? Dark tone duo. I don't like the clear. This is what works for me. She be staying on just fine. If you have watery eyes, you might want to get the one where you can dip it in there and then apply it on here. Let that get tacky. Apply it on the lash band too, and then stick it on. That'll like really make sure that bitch stays. But I'm not going anywhere, so I don't need to do all that. The way I've done it is just put a drop on the back of my hand. This shit is probably fucking expired. That's how long it's been, y'all, like for real. You're gonna be able to tell which eye it's for, obviously by the package, but like if you just do this bitch around, the inner corner is gonna be the smaller, how do you say, sparser part. I like these because they're kind of flare out on the end. I have like almond shaped eyes, but they are kind of like, I don't know how to explain my eye shape. Like it's weird. Sometimes lashes do not look right on me, but these are, I would say, pretty natural. They're long, but they're very wispy and they're not thick at all. So I'm gonna drag it through the lash glue. Be careful to get it on the line here, not on the underside or on top, right on the line, because that's where you're gonna put it up against your lash line. I like to hold a mirror underneath me so I could see through my lashes, and then glue right on the lash line. It's really just gonna be practice with this. Make sure your tweezers aren't sticky too, so it doesn't stick. But it's just practice with lashes. Like truly, it's just practice. I might not even be able to get it this time because I'm fucking rusty, but I would say maybe 30 seconds. Don't blow on it. That's not very hygienic unless you don't care, but I just wave it. This glue, it'll get darker, and when it's almost black, like it's tacky, then you want to stick it on. Don't move it around a whole bunch. So you gotta be sure. Practice makes perfect, but once you stick it on there and it's like actually tacky, it will stay. If you're not confident, maybe do it a little, like maybe 20 seconds, just so it's not like fully dry, so you have a little wiggle room. But I do the middle, push that in first, and then do side to side. Inner corner, sometimes you just have to hold it. I don't know if it's because the lashes are thinner or what, but sometimes that inner corner do not want to stick. Sometimes it will lift, so I always keep one of these in my bag because I can't stand that when the inner corner is lifting. I'd be looking crazy. But yeah, you're just gonna let this dry for a little bit. Either before or after, put a thin coat of mascara. This is the one I use, just so the lashes blend, and also if you are a beginner, it can help give the lashes something to adhere to. But I feel like if you're a beginner, that might make it harder to see your lash line. So I always save that for after, when I'm blending the lash. Once it's fully dry, please wait until it's fully dry, or the lash will come off with the mascara. Also, if you can, line your waterline with a brown or black eyeliner. That also helps it blend. I don't like seeing that like pinkish white gap. I don't know, I just feel like it also makes it more sultry. I'm gonna try and show you guys the best way that I can. I kind of really have to be like all up in the mirror, but I'm gonna like turn to the side so you guys can see. But this is what the complexion is looking like so far. Like my skin has been finally doing me well. I think with the lashes, like I said, it balances out with the brows, even though they're a little dark for me. But again, I just have it on my hand. I rolled it in between my fingers just so it's a little more pliable and it'll fit to the eye better. I put a little extra on the inner and outer corner just so it really sticks, because this one's already starting to lift because I didn't put that much on it. It's crazy because I don't even recognize myself, like what a bit. But after this, I already sprayed my face one last time with the setting spray, and then at the end I do my lips. So I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Kohl Crayon. The one that I use the black version of this to line my waterline, by the way, but this is the brown. I'm gonna use that on the edges, and then the Milan Color Statement lip liner. This is in the number 4 all natural. This was my go-to for so long, y'all. This was the one I used to have. Look how small. The cap is literally like not even doing it justice. Look at that. That's crazy. I use the hell out of that lip liner, but it's so good. It's like a perfect natural color for me. It's like matches my natural lip tone the best, but that's all I'm gonna do. I don't have clear gloss because it spilled all in my fucking bag. While it was drying, I just held up that end like this so it'll dry kind of upwards and not so droopy, because even though my eyes are almond shaped, they kind of taper downwards towards the end. And if I don't hold it while it dries upward, it won't keep that cat eye effect, even if the lash is shaped that way. So first, I'm gonna get it on there. The middle part's stick in. I'm gonna do one end, push it in, then do the other. This could also be your time to adjust it, as in like scoot it down, you know? But I'm just pushing this down, grabbing it by the base with the tweezers and really pushing it on the lash line there. And then I'm gonna hold this for a little bit because those inner corners are always tricky. If it's too like upward for you, sometimes when you glue it this way, because you're looking down, you don't realize how like forward it is. I like it like this. I feel like it opens up my eyes personally. But if you don't, as it's drying, you can always like push it down, you know what I mean? Or get a shorter lash style. It just depends on what you like. This is a soft beat look, so technically you probably get lashes that are just as wispy as this but shorter, but this is all that I had. I don't usually wear lashes, so to each their own. I'm gonna line the lips really quick, and then after this, if you really wanted to stay, do like 2 layers of a translucent powder over your lip liner to kind of prevent transfer. Otherwise, maybe a liquid lipstick, I don't know. It's hard to find one that isn't drying though, so I kind of just stick to my liner. I just follow my natural lip line. I've been blessed to have a good amount of lip, you know. Wish they were as big as my mom's, but at least I got her lip shape, so I can't complain. You're gonna press your lips together. Your lips need to be bone dry, or else that lip liner is just gonna slide around. So this lash is doing so much better than the other one. I did line it a little bit with black liner, but I probably could do another layer. I guess I can try and show you guys. I literally just hold a mirror, put it right underneath, kind of put it at an angle. My lashes aren't fully dry, so this is not very smart, but I just want to show you guys really quick. And just glide it back and forth. Sometimes when I get to the middle of my eye, it gets really irritated, so I usually don't go all the way into the inner corner, but yeah, I mean, it just helps blend it. I just hate that pink gap. But if you don't feel like it's blended enough, take your finger, blend her out. And I'm gonna go in with my little nub, fill in the middle. Ugh, I hate the outside of dry though, because it doesn't feel very good. And if this is too dark for you, everyone's skin tone is different, obviously, so it's not gonna look good on everyone. So maybe like more of a taupey instead of a brown, or maybe do a very small amount, or you could put with a liner brush some like what was I gonna say, or you can use a liner brush for, oh my fucking god, or you can use a liner brush and dip it in some eyebrow powder, eyeshadow, whatever, and then just line it that way. Since it's a true powder, it probably will last a little bit longer too. But I'm just gonna go over top with the NYX Intense Butter Gloss. This is in the shade Tres Leches, okay? Not Tres Leches. I am Puerto Rican and don't speak no Spanish, but I will say the pronunciation right, okay? I'm just gonna put a little bit because this is low-key like light. I need more lip gloss shades, to be honest, and I need to stop playing and go get my clear. But like a soft beat, from what I've seen, is kind of like a very neutral lip. It's something like this color, probably without the brown lip liner, or maybe a little less so. I mean, I've seen soft beads with this color. This is what it looks like in natural lighting. We're getting up close and personal, girl. Skin has texture, and that is okay. From afar, that black liner definitely helps with the blending, but from up close, if you don't want to be clockable, put on that mascara. I tried to explain as much as possible, even though we always have technical difficulties. So I hope this was as in-depth as y'all were hoping, or I hope it was helpful. I'm gonna try and get this uploaded this Sunday to make up for last week. Don't think I'm not being consistent, okay? I just had a busy weekend. I had my baby's birthday party to go to last weekend, so I had no time to even film something else or even edit. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my little tutorial. I honestly might do more looks because it feels good to be my face. Like, I have not be my face in forever, and I might be converting to the lashes for a little bit because I did miss them. Like, they're dramatic, but they're giving. Just not too much, not too much, because it will rip out your lashes. I'm gonna show you guys really quick how it looks in fluorescent light though, just so you can get like a idea. Excuse my fan in the back. I wanted to put all of the lights on so you guys can see, but you know, the foundation is a good match. It's a little bit lighter once I put the powder on, but in person it is really not bad at all. Nothing looks too harsh. Now, this is kind of a better idea, I guess. I'm not sure. Compared to my body, it's just like so annoying because it doesn't look true to color at all. I mean, you can kind of tell, but I had to adjust my camera settings too, just so I don't look completely yellow. This is as true as you can get, but again, not harsh at all. I just wanted to show you guys though, just what it looks like in different lighting. All right, so that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I will see you guys next week for my next video.